Democrats are done for me. I know that if I support you, you're telling me you're whispering sweet nothings into my ear about the policies you want to enact, and then you're going to go and scream about Trump for 20 years, and I don't want to hear it, so it's not happening.
All right, we have Tim Pool.
Yes.
Am I not
Yeah,
mistaken?
we do.
All right,
Yeah.
Mr. Pool, are you there, sir?
I am indeed. Can you hear me?
Oh, hold on a second. We're showing. Yes, we can hear you. We just saw someone who looked a little bit like you there. He had your beanie on. Can you confirm, in fact, this is not green screen trickery? You are not at the White House?
I am not actually at the White House, but, some people try to do what I do and report.
Right.
The greatest form of flattery,
It is the greatest form of flattery. Also, if your calling card is going to be an item that can be procured for $6 at Target, it's not necessarily copyright material.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for me.
Doesn't cover.
Though it can be looted.
That's
so
true.
there is that.
That's free.
You just had a stream going on, right, Tim Pool?
I did, yes.
And what were you guys talking about in the stream? We've been watching CNN, and it's been remarkable that they have been trying to avoid going to the ground tonight at all costs. They're not showing the ground. The one time they cut to the ground, we heard what sounded like mortars going off. The police respectfully asking folks to honor the perimeter. They said no, and then we hadn't gone back until just now. So what have you guys been covering?
Minneapolis is talking about disbanding their police department. And
What?
the defunding of police. Yeah, totally disbanding it.
Wow.
And, yeah. So that's where we're at. And we just had some conversations about what that would mean. I mean, it sounds crazy, but there's actually some arguments for why it might work if you consider what Black Lives Matter activists have been talking about. This guy, Hank Newsom, is having armed community patrols so they are responsible for their own community and their own policing. There's an argument for it, a conversation to be had. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I was thinking about it, and I'm like, all the 2A people would probably be happy to see all of these liberals now defending the right to bear arms.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And taking responsibility for their own safety, and stop putting the responsibility on police to come and rescue them when crime is happening.
Right. But they don't
Maybe that
want
works out.
But they don't want to defend the Second Amendment. They really just want it to go to a federal level where they can indict people who disagree with them. That's the problem. They literally want gulags.
The crazy ones.
Well, I don't know. I mean, has Rashida Tlaib suggested that, hey, we expand the Second Amendment? Because this is, the most vocal legislator that I know. In other words, if someone said, hey, defund the police and let's have a robust defense of the Second Amendment, I would listen to them. I've only heard defund the police from people who also say strip the Second Amendment. Am I mistaken? Because I want to be corrected.
Mostly correct.
Okay.
It's just Hank Newsom. He's a Black Lives Matter leader, I think based out of New York, who said, we need to arm ourselves and be responsible for our communities, and that solves the problem. I think it's an interesting argument.
Yeah.
Minneapolis isn't saying that. They're saying we're discussing disbanding the police because it's irredeemably broken, and they don't know what the alternative is.
Right.
So maybe start with a transition or an alternative before you talk about just getting rid of the police. Because
right.
Ultimately what we talked about is maybe city living has become untenable. It's just you've got too many problems.
Right.
You can't afford it. It smells like sour milk. Maybe it's time to move out of these cities.
That's being very generous. When I walk through New York City, I smell human shit.
Yeah.
Wherever I go,
You don't just see.
human shit.
You don't
That's
just
not
smell,
dog.
you see.
It
You
is
see.
human, and you see.
Yeah.
I once saw a
Visually.
man taking a human shit.
Oh, wow.
He wasn't shitting a human.
That's not
he was
even
actually
surprising.
taking a shit.
Wow.
Not
And then he
surprised at
also,
all.
this was in Tompkins Square Park,
Voting.
not a joke, took a shit, and then he reached into his pocket. I swear to you, this is true.
No.
He reached into his pocket, took out, there was a syringe in his finger, and rather than using his other hand to pull it out, he just went like this. Like it was so casual. He reaches into his
So
pockets
practiced.
and dirty syringes. So he took a shit, pulled up his pants, reached into his pocket, and there was a syringe like, nah, like it was a fly.
That was in the San Francisco tourist ad, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. And they were just they were just
Pure San Francisco.
Wait, is Tompkins Square Park San Francisco? I don't know. No, I'm thinking of. Anyways, it was in Manhattan.
Somewhere
I'm a fool. Excuse me.
What was that, Tim Pool?
That's New York, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But then Audio Wade stepped on me. Jeez.
I wasn't listening.
He makes a horrible fat lady singing. Something else, too, I want to know for people who don't, if you're very confused, Cultural Appropriation Month.
Yes,
We're doing Norway
yeah.
today. Tim Pool, we talked about this earlier today, you and I off air. So you obviously are more of a moderate, and you have never owned a firearm before, correct?
Nope, never.
Now, it seems like your opinion has changed in that you wouldn't
yes.
like.
Yeah.
Okay, first off,
Yes, it
explain
has.
to me, and welcome Tim Pool's audience, explain to me when your flash of genius was, when that moment was that you wanted to get a firearm.
It wasn't a flash of genius. It was a couple of years ago. I was still very much like, I respect people's right to own firearms, but I think there's some reasonable arguments for control measures. And then someone messaged me on my YouTube channel saying, if we can have reasonable controls on the Second Amendment, then I want controls on your First Amendment. And I immediately was like, that's actually a really great argument. I concede. So while I think, there have been issues in big cities and stuff.
That's a very odd white flag. I concede.
I guess you're
he was probably ready at there, like with his beer, and he had his vape, and he's like, all right, I'm going to war with Tim Pool. Like, you're right. He's like, oh.
Now what do I do? Yeah.
What am I going to do with my night
I got
now?
like the whole night left.
Can I go barge a police perimeter?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a fair point.
It's logic. It's me saying, honestly, I haven't had real sit-down conversations with people who were talking about how this functions, and there was a gap in my sight, but I still didn't buy one. When COVID started escalating, actually, no, I'm sorry, I got to walk this back. It was when the pedophile showed up to my house at 4 a.m. and tried breaking in, when the police instructed me to go buy a gun.
Right.
In a manner of speaking, they said, if it were me, I'd open the door with a shotgun. So I tried going through the hoops.
I like those cops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good cops.
Yeah.
Dude, it's tough. It's tough in New Jersey to get a gun.
Well, that's what we were talking about. So let people know, because listen, you're in New Jersey, and obviously, Manhattan itself was like a war zone for several days, and some of the protests have been peaceful, where it's only a couple hundred people in smaller areas where they march. But obviously, New Jersey can turn on a dime. So you were telling me it's hard to buy a gun. Can you tell me exactly what it is? First off, there are no firearms to find right now. They're picked clean.
Right.
But what the process would be like there, for example, like for a handgun.
So the first thing I did was I called some administration. I can't remember. They said, go to the police department. I go to the police department. They gave me conflicting instructions, told me to fill out a form, then go online. The website didn't exist.
Wow.
I'm not kidding.
It's like the DMV with exit wounds.
Yeah.
Yep. So they told me I would have to fill out write an essay. I'm not kidding. They said I have to write an essay explaining why I need one. And,
What?
I'm not kidding. It's totally serious.
Oh my.
So at that point, I was just like, this is nuts. I got to move out of the state or something, because they've given me no clear instructions. They couldn't tell me what I was supposed to do, where I was supposed to go. So more recently with COVID and everyone rushing to the stores, I started looking into it again, but didn't get serious until the full-blown riots nationwide. And that's when I was like, I'm going to actually spend the time and do the hard digging. And I found some path towards getting a gun in New Jersey.
Right.
That had me fill out a form with a bunch of numbers. I didn't know what they meant. It told me to find case compliant numbers, which weren't included in anything. No instructions at all.
Right.
And I really do believe they try to make it as hard as possible for a regular person who's never bought a gun before to go through the hoops of actually buying one.
Yeah.
Right.
Finally, I got to the point where I could fill out the federal ID or whatever, went and dealt with fingerprinting and things like that, and it's...
And it was during this. It was during this in-between period that you were raped, correct?
By a very large evil monster came out of my closet.
Yes.
Oh.
No.
Named Don Lemon.
You gotta hate those, man.
So first off, a couple of things, because I understand. I know that you have some compound bows, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's kind of what you're using right now.
I got a bunch. Okay. Oh no! I got.
Whoa, hey.
Regular
Having
green
more
arrow.
doesn't help. You still have to string
Choose
it.
one at a time, yeah.
I got like 4 compound bows, 4 recurves, 2 Hungarian traditionals.
This is Robin.
And this is more because it's fun. We weren't thinking that we were going to be like ninja warriors with bows or whatever.
No. Good.
We're actually like, we want to go range shooting and have a good time. And,
Sure.
just have fun.
No, I agree.
We actually want to get guns for security.
Yeah. No, sticking a broadhead in a looter can be a good time fun for the whole family. Well, let me explain something to you. So we talked about this earlier today. I want everyone to know, full disclosure, I talked about it with Tim, and my heart went out to him, because I come from a place in Canada where you can't protect your stuff. It's rely on the government. And then, we're going to disband the police force. So first off, a big thanks to obviously our sponsor, Walther, but they specialize in handguns. And I want to thank Sig Sauer, who they're actually sending us, since we can't find any here, a whole lot of SIG 365 V-Crown, their jacketed hollow points, because we only have some range ammo, and even then we're almost out in 9mm. Yeah. And here's the thing.
It's been out for a while.
We obviously wanted to send our sponsor, Walther, but I don't even know if they have anything compliant with New Jersey, and handguns are a lot harder to get in New Jersey. Long guns are a little bit different. So we will be sending you, now courtesy of SIG, I have to say this legally, but we will be the ones sending you, actually, a brand new Sig Sauer M400 Tread. It's a sporting semi-auto rifle in the AR-15 family or platform. Again, it's from me, compliments of SIG, because we told them about your scenario. They're actually we're going to send it directly to your FFL, and they will immediately make the adjustments needed to make it New Jersey compliant, which typically means shittier. But we understand
unfortunately
that you getting it is better than nothing. And when we're done with this hit, we'll probably talk tomorrow, and we'll expedite that to you because I know how hard it is.
Thanks, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
It won't fire.
Yeah.
But you can use it as a club or
throw
something.
it.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool.
No, actually, I'm kind of mad because I want one of these.
I know.
right.
I want one.
Can I use it?
Am I allowed
testing
to?
it
Are you
out.
allowed to come to New Jersey?
I don't know if I'm allowed to come to New Jersey.
Well, if you can't go to Pakistan, you
at the
can't go
very
to
least,
Jersey.
I'm going to get a serious ass whooping. And here's one thing I want to show you. I don't know if can Tim see program or he just sees me?
He sees you.
He sees me. So right now, again, Don Lemon is showing two black guys from the Floyd family. He showed attorneys from the Floyd family, showed a
he can
friend
see
from
program.
Floyd, and now they're showing attorneys right here for the Floyd family. They are not going to the ground, which is remarkable to me. I don't know if you've been following this, and something else. Were you aware of, we just had Reg the Bandit bring this up. I'm sure you were aware of Donald Trump posting that very heartfelt tribute to George Floyd, where he called for unity, where he said we need more hugs and fewer clenched fists. And that was removed from Twitter for copyright. They still have information up there, by the way, that's false about the NYPD unloading on a 19-year-old boy unarmed. It was actually a 30-something-year-old who was, I believe, shooting at the cops. So no fact check on that, but they removed Donald Trump's video, and then CNN, Don Lemon just said, and Donald Trump couldn't take a minute out of his day to honor George Floyd.
Yeah.
Have you been following it, and are you aware of that copyright video that was taken down from Trump?
No, I'm hearing about it just now. I knew he put it up, but
Yeah.
the things Twitter is doing, if you search racist on Twitter, Donald Trump is the first thing that pops up.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Dude, the things I've been seeing in the news and on social media are getting freaky. If you think it was bad last year, like you heard about the New York Times? They're having an internal revolt. Their staff want an opinion piece from Tom Cotton removed because he was supporting Trump's call for military action.
Oh, yeah.
The New York Times is bending over backwards for these people.
Right. Now, to be clear to people just calling it, the New York Times are bending over for people who are not Don Lemon.
Well,
Yes.
it wouldn't be bad
again,
if it
on-the-ground
was for Don
reporters
Lemon.
at
It
the
would be
moment.
forward.
But yeah, you weren't aware that it was taken down. And let me ask you this. Do you think, as someone who specializes in this, you look at that sort of trail. I think I told you someone attempted to dox us, posted the wrong address. So but I don't want anyone to be
Nobody,
harmed.
yes.
6 times. It took over 30 hours for Twitter to get to it. But right away when I tweeted out today, if you kneel before a mob, you're a pussy. That was reviewed, and to Twitter's credit, wasn't removed, but that was reviewed within minutes. Wow. Doxing isn't quite on their priority.
That's
They let me know. Twitter sent a message, because of COVID, we're backlogged. So let me ask you this. Do you think that there is like triangulation, almost like picture, velociraptors in Jurassic Park 2 in the cornfield scene?
They can open doors.
Do you think that there's a
long
concerted effort where they go, okay, we're not going to fact check this verifiably false information on the NYPD. We're going to remove Donald Trump's video on a copyright bogus claim, even though other videos that have way more egregious copyright violations are still allowed. And then the media works with them and says, oh, now we can go out there and say that Donald Trump hasn't commented on it. Do you think it's just all happenstance, that they don't have researchers, or do they have a direct line of communication? Because those 3 things change if people watch CNN, would change the entire public perception of reality.
Well, what we can say definitively, Twitter has admitted they're only basically fact-checking Trump and some conservatives. Their official response was, we don't intend to correct every bit of misinformation. That being so, the response to this was that Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Schumer have put out false information that has gone completely ignored.
Right.
And then when Trump gets flagged, Twitter's response is, well, we don't flag everything, so it's just Trump.
Wow.
Right.
By the way, is that Felonious Floyd? Do you see his name?
Did they say felonious?
Felonious?
It's felonious, I think, Floyd, but it's just a weird coincidence.
I knew someone who was once named Gonorrhea.
Really?
That's horrible.
Wow.
I don't think that's true. I think that's a
I
lie.
feel bad
It is.
for that person.
So let me ask this, Tim. What is it that you think is the most dangerous, I guess, right now in this coverage? My biggest concern, and I talked about this early on, is
Your wig is way
up on it, yeah.
And now I have the Nicolas Cage. Tim, are you excited about your AR-15? My biggest concern, Tim,
Yes.
and how old are you, Mr. Poole?
34.
Okay, so you're 2 years older than me, but 1 year younger than Brian Stelter.
That's true.
No, wait, you're a year older than
Yeah.
Brian Stelter. Brian Stelter is our age, Tim Poole.
Oh, he's going to be around a while.
And this is new and improved Brian Stelter with caps.
Jeez.
My worry is, having been raised in a post-racial America, that when you have the media saying, this is because of race, it's black lives matter, and people are watching and they're going, my city's destroyed. And by the way, I want to be very clear, there are black officers and there are white looters, but the media is saying black. My worry is that you have an entire generation of people more racist because they go, why is my town destroyed? And they flip on the TV and go, black. That being said, that's my biggest concern. What's your biggest concern with the coverage of all of this, which is, I think we would all agree, is worse than it's ever been in our lifetime?
Yeah, it's shocking.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So one of the things that's been mind-numbing for me, and it's become a meme where I mentioned that I come from a mixed race family, is that I'm in the worst position between these two groups because I either bend the knee, I have no privilege amongst them because they say I'm white.
Right.
If I disagree, then everything I say is wrong. So my only choice is to agree with them, otherwise I'm the other. But I literally don't even have the privilege of being white, literally like how they describe it, because my family doesn't. The way I'm trying to put it is, their ideology puts me in the most awkward position where I have no racial identity like they do.
Yeah.
Right.
These weird white liberals talk about their experiences in the suburbs. I'm from the south side of Chicago. But then because of the way they perceive me, I don't get the benefits of their ideology, just the detriment.
Right.
So I'm basically trying to agree with you, to say the least.
You're screwed
Dude,
in a
I know
number of
that-
ways here.
Well,
Exactly.
he's not
Bad.
screwed because he is
Yeah.
half Korean.
Oh.
And let's play that.
Well,
Let's play that
I got-
audio. Hold on a second. You can pull a little bit of this. You motherfucker! You can pull that and be a rooftop Korean,
have that
especially
clip, by the
now
way.
with your M400 tread, courtcy of us.
Let-
But thank you, SIG, for helping supply it.
Let me reiterate this in a better way. I have interviewed white supremacists, nationalists, and they have disdain for me and my family, and they say awful things.
Yeah.
I don't care though; it rolls off my back. If the left wins,
Your
right? We saw Steve
hairless
King-
Korean back.
hairless Korean back. Steve King loses his primary because he said things that Americans didn't want to hear, right? Things
Right.
that were considered either white nationalist or racist. The left is emboldened by their racists and these weird things that freak out me and my family. So my hope is that American as the identity survives, and that's what wins, because that's the only thing I have.
Right.
There's no outcome
Yeah.
with these weird identitarian on the left or the right where I win and my family wins.
Right.
If people in my position are going to do better, it's going to be Americans recognizing they're just American first and foremost. But if we end up with white identitarianism, I'm screwed. And if we end up with left identitarianism, I'm screwed. So I'd rather we all be Americans and
Right.
agree on our civil rights.
I agree. I think that's very well said. Let me ask you this, because I know that you said in the past, you were moderate. I think you voted for Obama, correct?
The first time.
The first time. And the second time, did you not vote, or did you vote?
Did
for
not
Romney?
vote.
Okay, I was
No,
going
I
to say
did not vote.
Romney's pretty tough if you're a
It's
moderate.
difficult. Yeah.
The Mormon who puts his dog on his roof is a tough sell.
It's for air.
I understand.
Hey,
I think he's a decent
Jeez.
man. I think he's wrong politically. It's a tough sell. But let me ask you
Be it
this.
fair.
You've said before, like, obviously you're not necessarily a big fan of Donald Trump, but do you now take into account after these riots that a vote for anyone other than Donald Trump is a vote for someone who wants you to have only a double-barreled shotgun or revolver with more extensive paperwork than you're talking about now? There's no two ways about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do this show, the Tim Guest IRL show, with my buddy Adam and Lydia. Adam is a skateboarding hippie liberal guy, grew up in Chicago, lives in New York, and he just comes out and he's like, after seeing all this, I'm voting for Trump. And I was like, whoa,
Wow.
Wow.
I was talking to someone recently,
Yep.
someone I've known for a really, really long time, diehard Democrat, as long as I've known them, messaged me saying the only way this ends is if Trump wins re-election and the Republicans take all, the House and the Senate. And I was like, whoa,
Wow.
for real. I was talking to a local in my area, a contractor, and I was asking them how they felt about all this. They said to me they don't care for politics. It was this guy who was in his mid-20s, did construction work, and he said, honestly, man, I don't know anything about this stuff, but I'm going to vote for Trump because I'm sick and tired of the attacks. I just don't understand why they're always yelling and complaining, so I'm just going to vote for this guy now.
Wow.
So this was somebody telling me he didn't vote for Trump the first time. He is now. I combine these things with everything I see with what's going on with Biden falling asleep and just being out of his mind, the progressives ragging on the Democrats, and I can't envision a future where Trump loses. So
right. And by the way, he did say diehard Democrats was the worst sequel of the Die Hards.
It was.
Just Don McClane taking a knee saying, I'm sorry, motherfucker. I'm sorry, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. I shouldn't have said it.
Never apologize.
Let me ask you, Tim, not to put, and you don't, if you believe in a secret ballot, has this changed? Do you think that where you are now, would you cast a vote, and has it changed?
I'm not definitively confirmed for Trump, but I have stated leaning in that direction.
All right.
But there's reasons for this. So Democrats are done for me. I donated to them recently, Yang, Tulsi, but with what they've done with impeachment, with what they did with rigging the DNC, with how they shut out the candidates that I wanted to hear from, I just said, you know what, man, these moderate Democrats in Congress ran on kitchen table issues, and then as soon as they were given the one ring, they laughed and went right for impeachment.
Yeah.
And that's not worth supporting.
Right.
So I still get text messages from these people, and I said, listen, man, I know that if I support you, you're telling me you're whispering sweet nothings into my ear about the policies you want to enact, and then you're going to go and scream about Trump for 20 years, and I don't want to hear it, so it's not happening.
Right.
But when it comes to the president, I'll tell you what scared me is Joe Biden. They've lost their minds.
Yeah. Yes, they have
It's
lost
like,
their minds. And he kneeled, which to me is just...
Knelt.
That is so... Well, is knelt the word?
I do believe it's knelt.
Man, these beers are strong.
Knelt.
They are pretty.
What? Who stopped?
12%? What?
Well, a couple of things there. Andrew Yang, I'm sure you saw his tweets where he was encouraging, like, insurrection. Has that changed your opinion on... I know
I didn't see those.
Oh, yeah. Kind of a dick move.
Just a little bit.
And then I have to tell you, I know you're kind of... Obviously, I appreciate your journalistic integrity, but... if you don't vote for Trump, you don't get your SIG. I'm sorry.
There's strings
We'll need to
attached
see your
now?
ballot, please, before.
Take a picture, post it on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly.
right, yeah.
Just a picture of an illegal picture of you in the voting booth.
Right. Yeah.
All right, Tim. Well, Tim, hey, we do have to get going. Where's the best place for people to find you and watch your new show?
YouTube.com/TimcastIRL, on Twitter @Timcast. I mean, honestly, if you search YouTube for Twitter, I have like 3 or 4 channels, all under the same thing.
Oh, you're still showing up in search. Well, that's cute. So
Good for you.
It is the Sig Sauer M400
Must be
Shred, and
nice.
like we said, we couldn't send you a handgun. So at this point, Walther's been a wonderful sponsor to the show.
Yeah.
But it's more important that people are able to protect themselves.
Yeah.
They don't sell any rifles, and I've had great experience with. I've always said this. It's like BMW, Mercedes at a certain point.
Yeah.
They're all very good once you get beyond, the Saturday night specials or
Right.
Taurus.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't do that because I don't want you to actually be raped. I wouldn't send you a Taurus.
yeah.
That's the
All
SIG
right.
M400. You need to, you'll be in touch with us, and there do need to be some modifications there in New Jersey for us to send it out. But thank you so much, brother. Stay safe. I appreciate it. Thanks for making the time.
Likewise, take care, man.
Hey there, YouTube viewer. If you like this video, click one of these other videos playing in a box up there and hit subscribe or the notification bell if you're already subscribed so you can find out about our new non-controversial videos, which don't ruffle any feathers and, of course, are not a violation of YouTube's algorithms. Everyone's welcome here, except I don't know if we are, but it's our channel. I'm not sure how that works.